Henry Ford once said, "Quality means doing it right when no one is looking." No matter if you are migrating a website to a new host or launching a brand new website, you need a quality assurance checklist. In this lesson, we're going to review a wide variety of common checklist items. Use the resources from this lesson to create your own checklist, so when it comes time to launch, you know the website is ready to go. Just note that the resource checklist for this lesson is just for pre-launch. There will be a post-launch checklist for QA in the next lesson. For devising our checklist, we turn to a helpful source, the Human website. Human.com has provided a well-devised checklist for Creative Commons use. We will build off this list, adding a few more items as we work through our own QA checklist. Before launch, there are 7 areas to focus on for QA: content, SEO and analytics, markup, functionality, performance, security, and browser testing. When you quality assurance test for content, you want to have your team or the client address spelling and grammar errors. On your end, you'll want to make sure that the content is formatted correctly, no placeholder text or images remain, and there are no broken links. Confirm a privacy policy, terms of use, or disclaimer if needed, as well as a 404 page for errors. Content QA testing can also include ensuring your images have all the information and other key markers for accessibility. View the resources for more items in the Content QA checklist and add to it other tasks specific to your website builds. SEO and analytics includes checking that all pages and posts have metadata, page information is set up correctly, and the no follows or no index as correct. You'll also want an XML sitemap and a robots.txt file in the root folder. On that same note, make sure that if the site is blocking robots on staging, to remove this on launch. As you proceed in this section, set up 301 redirects for removed pages and posts, and make sure you've added web analytics code and open graph tags for social. Add any additional items to your checklist for pre-launch for SEO and analytics. If social media optimization is part of your builds, you could add those checklist items to this section. Although the checklist items for markup are few in our resources, they are mighty. Checking to make sure your HTML and CSS are validated, as well as having your JavaScript error-free, can take significant time. It's important that you deliver a website that is free of errors with well-written code. This will prevent future issues for your client. Some developers will even do a CSS lint test, which looks for problematic patterns or signs of inefficiency. The next section on our checklist is functionality. This section works best if you act like a visitor on the website to catch any issues a user would have interacting with forms, searching, or even trying to print the website. Always test forms thoroughly and make sure they are going to the right recipient, arriving in their email inbox, and the user receives the information correctly. Another item that is controversial is making sure the website and forms work when JavaScript is disabled. Some users turn JavaScript off for accessibility or security reasons. Because of this, developers will add this checklist item while others find it's not possible for the website they're building and skip it. In the performance section of the checklist, you'll find the items to optimize your site before launch. These include optimizing images, minifying, combing CSS and JavaScript, and enabling gzip compression. You'll want to run speed tests before and after your launch. If you're incorporating a CDN and caching rules, use the pre-launch step to make sure you have everything you need so you can make those changes once the site is live. For security, your pre-launch QA checklist will secure the SSL certificate for the URL, as well as make sure all logins are using strong passwords and that you enable anti-spam and bot protection. If you are building on the WordPress platform, make sure to use a security plugin that will set up most of the security features you need in a single click. Last, and certainly not least, is the browser and device testing. This is where you will view the website on a series of popular browsers and devices to look for issues and errors. You simply cannot assume that your code will display and work the same on all devices. In fact, in your contract agreement for the work, list out the browsers and devices you will use in your testing. This way, if the client has a specific browser or device that is important to them, they will mention it in the first stages of the project, rather than after the website is live. To that point, if there are any browsers or devices that are no longer supported or being discontinued, make mention of them in your contract. For example, once Internet Explorer announced its end date, many website developers were noting in their contract they would not include that web browser in their testing. So, how many browsers and devices should you test on? According to W3 Schools, at the time of this lesson, the most popular browser was Chrome at 80% of usage. Edge, Firefox, Safari, and Opera all filled out the rest of the share with 3 to 6% of users each. When it comes to device usage, you want to make sure to test on an iOS device as well as an Android device. It's always wise to ask your client what device they use, so you can test for that specific one. QA testing before you launch is the best way to prevent a series of emergencies once the website is live. It is always better to catch the issues and errors yourself, then leave them up to the client or website visitors. QA testing takes time, and working through each checklist item means you may find issues you then have to dig back into the website to fix. With that in mind, make sure you are properly quoting the QA testing phase of your website builds, so you don't feel rushed to complete this phase. Educate your client on the estimated time of completion for this phase so that when they are ready to go live, they know testing results may delay that process.